All right, you're gonna have to forgive me for this question because it's a little bit convicting, embarrassing. And here it is. But be honest. Have you started off something very strong, but you ended very poorly? Okay. Let me give you a couple examples and then maybe you'll agree with me. How about that diet? Did you start off strong? You're just so determined. Man, I'm like this. I can be like a guru of great healthy eating from like 6 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. And then from 11:30 to midnight, it's a problem. It's a real problem. I start off strong. I end poorly. Or what about friendships? You ever have that friendship where, man, you guys were so good for each other, but you let busyness and time cause you to grow apart? Or this happens often in marriages. You start off so in love, but the stresses, child rearing, finances, it ends poorly. You see, there are so many things in life that are it's so absolutely important that we start off strong, but even more important, we finish strong. There is nothing more important in this regard than your theology. That's right, your theology. In fact, I would say this, if you start off strong in your theology and you end even stronger, your friendships, your goals, your discipline, your marriage is probably going to take care of itself. How you think, the truth in you, it's so important. This is Paul's concern in 1 Corinthians 15. He wants the Corinthians to get to the bottom line issue of all their problems. And there's a lot of problems in Corinth. And here it is. Do you really believe the truth? Are you hanging on to the truth? Are you starting strong theologically and continuing strong and finishing strong? Apparently, some were not. Here's what he says in verse 12 of chapter 15. But if it is preached that Christ has been raised from the dead, how can some of you say that there is no resurrection of the dead? If there's no resurrection of the dead, then not even Christ has been raised. In context, what he's saying here is the apostles in Jerusalem and we have all preached to you that there are many eyewitnesses and that Jesus came, died in our place, and then he defeated death. We have proclaimed this to you. And yet some of you, even though you've heard our eyewitness accounts, you started off by believing it, and now you're slowly but surely sliding back, wandering back to this idea that, well, maybe Jesus' resurrection is a symbolic thing. Maybe Jesus' resurrection it's just kind of a story that inspires us. Maybe it didn't actually happen. Why is that? Why are they going back? Well, one of the reasons is it was very culturally dangerous for them to believe in the resurrection. We look at Paul. Wherever he goes, he preaches the resurrection, riots happen. There was a group of people in the Mediterranean at that point. They were so threatened. Some of them were Greeks. They were threatened that their pantheon of gods would be replaced. Some of them were Jews. They were threatened that their interpretation of the Old Testament would be replaced. And so they reacted literally, physically very violent. So it was dangerous in culture to stand up and say, hey, I believe this guy Jesus is the Messiah. He died and he conquered death. It was, you could have your business taken away. You could be thrown in jail. You could be put to death. And then another reason is more about cultural agreement and cultural acceptance. You see, the Greeks especially, they didn't like the idea of resurrection. They didn't like the body. They wanted to go into eternity and be a spirit. And so this fleshly, diseased, easy to make weak body, the idea that God would resurrect that was kind of disgusting to them. And so after a while, the Corinthian Greek converts started going, do we really want to stand in opposition to our entire culture? Do we want to be excluded? Do we want to be made fun of? So there was literally a physical danger and there was a societal danger. And that's why they began to slip away. Now, I wonder if we feel that way too. We just want to get along to go along. Sometimes actually believing that death itself has died. It's a pretty radical thought. In fact, underneath both of these problems with the Corinthians, I think there's an even deeper one. And I think it's the one that affects you and I the most. Here it is. Do we really believe that God loves us that much? Are we loved in our sin that much? Why is the resurrection hard? Well, it is a pretty big miracle. But also, we know that we're sinners. We know that we're duplicitous. We know that inside we're selfish. And yet God in our sin still loved us. He came to earth, served us all the way to dying on the cross for us. And then he conquered death so there would be no obstacle between us and our Creator. Could it just be that it's hard for us to believe we're that loved? What's the point of Easter? What's the point of resurrection? Well, it's getting our hearts and our minds and our spirits wrapped around this idea. God truly loves us that much, that he would not spare his only Son, but gave him so that you and I might have life abundantly, and life for eternity.